Hey, Dr. Pat, I just want to thank you as one of your patients on the healthcare journey that you've taken me on. You really made me feel like the hero of that healthcare journey. But I know that the reason you do what you do is stemming from things that you went through as a child that led you to become a chiropractor and help people the way you do. So share a little bit about that.
Yeah, very interesting, colorful, exciting. So when I was a child, I was a very heavy kid. Um, my mom said I was husky, but really I was fat. And my name is Pat. My mom wanted me to join a swim team because she thought, number one, that would help me with my weight loss. I was about 120 pounds when I was 9 years old, and most of my classmates were 60, 70 pounds. So I was quite large. And the last thing I wanted to do was put a bathing suit on and join a swim team. But my mom convinced me, and I tried out for the team, and I got cut. And I was actually happy because I thought, oh my, I don't want to be this chubby kid in a bathing suit. And then I realized that, on the playground, kicking a kickball, because I was big, I could kick a kickball, or baseball, hockey. I played all the sports, and I was always one of the first kids picked. So this bothered me. So I told my mom, I said, Mom, I don't feel good about being cut from the swim team. And she said, well, what do you want? And I said, well, now I want to be on that swim team. And so I worked hard for about a year getting lessons, and I made the team. And then that was just the spark that was needed. The way that God created me was that, if you tell me no, that's the one thing I wanted to do. And, I know some kids, will get a no and then they just quit. And so, I have a passion that when patients come in and say, this is going wrong, this is going, and they feel defeated, it's like, oh, let me tell you my story. So my story starts way back then when I was 9. By the time I was 10, I did get on that team. And then I just was setting goal after goal after goal, and did a lot of things naturally, had some good coaches. My dad helped me set some goals. And by the time I was 12, I was the number 100 backstroker for swimming in the country. And, everybody was starting to take recognition. And it was like, well, wasn't this kid cut like a few years ago? So I couldn't get any further away from being a good swimmer by being cut. Right? And then, but in a few short years, I was progressing along, and that really helped my mind shape as a kid that, no matter what's going on, you can write your own story. And so I was writing my own story, and I didn't know that as I was a kid, but looking back now, it was really instrumental in creating the kind of doctor that I am today.
How did that translate for you as you got into your middle years and you decided to go to school and actually become a doctor?
That's another great question. So a lot of the swim team mates of mine, really good friends, a lot of their fathers were doctors. And my dad worked his buns off. My dad did many different jobs. And he really tried hard, but I realized that he probably wasn't going to be able to help me get to college. And I knew that if I really wanted a good job, I was going to have to go to college. And so I thought, I might be able to do something with this swimming. So I had a real discipline. I loved swimming, and I loved the friendships, the fellowships, and the goal setting and all that. But I swam with a purpose. I knew that I needed to get to college so that I could get a degree. And because most of my friends were, their dads were doctors, I was like, I think I want to be a doctor. So, I set my sights on being an orthopedic surgeon. And I didn't change my mind until finally when I got accepted to medical school. I changed my mind then, and I'll get to that later. But that was the driving thing. And so, I set my sights on it. And by the time I was a senior in high school, my toughest decision was picking what school to go to. And I'm not bragging, it was a lot of my classmates were wondering if they were going to get into college. But because of swimming and being cut and then getting this fire lit, it was now all of a sudden I had this tough decision: is what school should I go to? And I was offered full scholarship at 5 different colleges. And going to school, I realized, you know what? I could do pre-med. I could do, I majored in psychology and had a great experience, got to swim in college. I swam at the University of Florida, as you know, go Gators. And while I was there, we won the NCAAs 2 years in a row. And I got to say, that was a highlight of my life, being on a team. You know, when you're out there doing your thing on your own, that's exciting. But when you're part of a team, the excitement is magnified. And so again, that's one of the things that shaped me in my practice, is that when patients come in here, hopefully they come in with their family members, you know, moms, dads, and their kids, and then use us with my staff as their team. So, you know, we're a team. We do this together. You know, we have some ups and downs together, we have goals together, and it makes it much more exciting than you're just out there all alone.
That's an interesting story, but I know there's a bigger story here, and I want you to tell me a little bit about the Olympics.
So at age 12, when I started really progressing in swimming, the 1976 Olympics was on TV, and my dad and I were sitting down watching the Olympics, and I was watching John Neighbor, who was the U.S. backstroker, and he was one of my heroes. He was the world record holder in both the 100 and 200, and he swam. He got gold medals in the Olympics, and I looked at my dad and I said, "Dad, I want to do that." And my dad looked back at me very seriously and he said, "You can do this. If you set your mind to it, you can do it." And my dad was my hero. So when I looked at him and I believed him, I was like, "You really think I could do that?" He said, "Absolutely." So from age 12 until age 20, I purposed myself when I was swimming to be thinking about making the Olympic team. And I was nothing special. Matter of fact, you know, I started out chubby kid, got cut from the swim team. I only ended up being 5'10". Most really big swimmers, big being, you know, very well known world record holders, really good swimmers, were 6'4", 6 foot. John Neighbor was 6'6". Here I am, 5'10". But my dad said, "You can do it," and I believed him. And so I trained like I was going to make it. And sure enough, in 1984, I did make the team. Swam, was the 200 butterfly for the United States. Wonderful experience. Didn't do what I really wanted to do. And kind of as a side note, my goal was to make the Olympic team, and I did. But I forgot to think about, once I was there, what was my next goal? So that's one thing that I love to do when I'm working with athletes, or, you know, the person who wants to lose weight, or the person has a knee problem. It's like, you know, why are you getting rid of your knee problem? Why are you trying to lose weight? Why are you doing this thing? And they're like, "Well, I don't want to have any knee pain. I want to lose weight." Yeah, okay, that's a want, but what is the reason why you're doing this, you know? And it's because, well, I want to not have a heart attack and die, because I want to be around to be able to take care of my grandkids, enjoy life. And when I'm retired, I want to go play golf. I want to go do adventurous things. I can't with a bad knee. So those are things that we're excited about. I wanted to go to the University of Florida and swim because I wanted to become a doctor. And so swimming has shaped my professional life, because that was my end goal. Was I wanted to help people write their story just like I got a chance to write my story. So that's where my passion lies.
Awesome. So tell me more about your education and what led you to chiropractic.
So another interesting question. You know, when I went to University of Florida and went through pre-med, my focus was I wanted to get into medical school and become an orthopedic surgeon. So when I graduated, got accepted into medical school, before I actually went, I started working in a hospital in the orthopedic department, and so I got to see what was going on. And I didn't like it. I was thinking to myself, gosh, there's so much more that can be done before these drastic surgeries. Now, I'm not downplaying that those surgeries do good. You know, you got a worn out knee, worn out hip. You know, we do some miraculous things in surgery now. But when it comes to the spine, those surgeries, they have in the medical textbooks now, you know, failed back surgery. That's an actual condition. and I see this for the past 30 years. It's not something that you should sign up for quickly. So at a young age, I realized I want to do something and help people prevent that from happening. So I'm licensed by the Virginia Board of Medicine to do chiropractic and physical therapy, but I have some postgraduate studies and training in orthopedics and neurology. So when people come into my office, they're getting a whole lot more than just chiropractic.
It's great. I know for me, as a patient, I was one of those failed surgeries. Not only did I had worked with other chiropractors, I had done acupuncture, I'd done injections, and I also had surgery to have my neck fused. And I thought I was doomed, but when I came here, I really felt like it was something different. It was a place that was different because it was more about me and my journey than it was about you and your practice. So tell us a little bit about what makes you different.
So if you ask my Nana, she'll say I'm the best kid in the whole wide world. But I'm sure most Nanas would say that. I don't really feel like I'm anything special, to tell you the truth. I just, what God has put inside me is determination, being relentless, very merciful, because I know what it's like to fail. You know, you can't get any further away from being an Olympic swimmer than being cut from the swim team, and they telling you that you're too overweight and you're not good enough. So that is in itself that I think makes me different. That when somebody comes in here and they have a list of health problems, I don't look at them as a health problem. Like, I'm not going to look at you as an ankle or a knee or a migraine headache or overweight. I'm looking at you as a person, and you have an incredible story. And I think in today's world, really, we need help. My coach wasn't a very good swimmer, but he helped me become an Olympian. He coached me. And so I consider myself to be a guide, a coach. I had people around me that helped me become something way greater than I could have done on my own. So when a person comes in and they sit in that chair and I talk with them, I really want to get to know them. I want to know what makes them tick. I want to know what are their health issues, what are their goals, what are their desires, what are they afraid of, what do they want? And instead of just working on a knee, it's like, well, why are we working on that knee? Let's get that knee in shape because you got a whole body here and you got some desires. What are you going to do with your life? So it's fun every single day. I've been doing it for over 30 years, but I have such a great time because it's not boring. Everybody's got a story, and I want to help them develop their health story so that they can go on and really make this world a little better place.